Day 11, and just check out that sky, man. Mind you, wasn't like that 45 minutes ago. It was grey and miserable. But I'm not complaining now. Although looking off to the south, I think it's going to be grey and miserable again quite soon. And boy, did it rain last night. It was cats and dogs. But just check out the views behind me. That's the main part of the campsite over there. It's quite busy. We're in a little spur behind me, which is much quieter, but does involve quite a walk to get to the showers and toilet facilities. You might just notice off the far right of the shot, the lady who's just been for a swim. They're bloody hard, these Scots. We're not sure what we're going to do yet today. We have a campsite booked for tomorrow night, up towards the north end of Mull. We're right down in the west, southwest. So I guess we'll make our way generally back up towards there and check out what there is to go look at and do. We've moved the van. We were located up by that bench over there. But there was a storm warning, an amber alert for high winds from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning for 24 hours. So we've moved the van a little bit further back so we're not directly on the front. And there is a rock formation off to my left, which will probably give us zero shelter. But maybe a little bit more than zero. Just. The winds are predicted to be between 40 and 70 kilometers per hour tomorrow from 6 o'clock, or building up to that by 6 o'clock. So we've just done a trial run on the rock and roll bed. So tonight we won't be sleeping in the top. We'll drop the roof down and keep it down. The campsite has emptied, as one would expect, for midday. I think checkout time here is quite late at 2. So it'll be interesting to see how many, if any more, campers come back in, given the storm warning. There's still plenty of tents up over there. They're going to be in for a fun night, that's for sure. So our plan, obviously, is to spend another night here rather than go back inland and put ourselves amongst the trees and other things that may get blown over. So for today, we're going to do a couple of walks. We've already been on the beach here, which is out in front of me. But also take a walk back up to Vanlife to do some shopping. We are heading into the evening now, and it's been a really chilled day. We did take a walk up to the village to do some shopping, having forgotten that we are in rural Scotland and everything is shut on a Sunday. Wow. Not everything was shut, but the shop was shut. So instead we just grabbed some lunch at the cafe at the ferry terminal. Black pudding and bacon roll for Karen, and a bacon and egg roll for me. And very nice they were too. There has been a bit of a clear out on the camp. Just behind me here is where we were last night. But as you saw, we moved earlier. And this whole section, which probably had, I don't know, at least 12, 14 campers and tents last night, has got none. Now, whether that's because it's Sunday and everyone's going home for work tomorrow, which is unlikely because I think tomorrow is a bank holiday here in Scotland, or because they don't want to be here for the storm, I don't know. I'm going to go with the latter. Even the main campsite over to my right is significantly reduced in numbers. The sun is still there. It is trying to break through. You can just see it behind me. The day has generally been okay, although for our walk it did get a bit cloudy and the temperature has actually dropped quite a bit. So the plan now is barbecue for dinner and then wrap ourselves up in the van nice and warm and wait for the storm to come in. And as I said earlier, we won't be sleeping with the pop top up. We'll be using the rock and roll bed tonight, keeping the roof down and hopefully avoiding any serious damage. Even the sheep have been rounded up. Whether that's because of the storm or because they're all off to market, I don't know. Day 12, and we're still at Fidden Beach campsite. Storm Floris rattled in overnight with lots of wind and lots of rain. The rain has now eased off, but we still got lots of wind. In fact, the wind is forecast to increase in strength until lunchtime before it starts to back off. So we're not quite sure what we're going to do today. They are gale force winds and they are very strong. Some foolish family rocked up quite late yesterday afternoon, parked up not far from where we were the night before, and stuck their tent box up on top of the car. This morning, you can clearly see they brought it down in a hurry if it didn't get torn down by the wind. So yeah, all fun and games on the west coast of the Isle of Mull in the middle of Storm Floris. We have decided to move on, so we left the campsite a while back, drove up to Fort, which was pretty much closed. Actually, the local shop was open, which it wasn't yesterday, but the ferries aren't running because of the seas, and you can see why. So from Fort we've pushed on further around and we're now back at Pennygale, which is where we stayed 3 nights ago on the campsite. It's lunchtime, so I'm going to stop now and have a cup of tea and probably something to eat. And also, as the storm is predicted to peak in the next couple of hours, we'll probably wait for that as well. So, bit of a break, take our time, hopefully get over the worst of the winds, and we'll push on to tonight's campsite, which is still a good hour and a half, 2 hours drive away from us. Unfortunately, one of the main roads on the island is closed. I don't know why. So we'll just be going back on ourselves right the way around to the initial ferry port, which we came across to, Fishnish, yeah. So we'll get there and push on even further north from there. We have made it to our campsite for the evening. You can probably hear it's still quite windy, and you can probably see it as well. We're at a place called Cranich or Cranic, which is in Glen Aros, A-R-O-S, which you can see stretching out there behind the van. Beautiful spot. It has been quite a dull day though, most of it spent in the van because the weather's been awful, as we know. And the forecast is really for the wind to continue up until 10 o'clock tonight before it starts to ease off. The journey up wasn't without incident. We did have a blockage on the road with a fallen over tree, but luckily a couple of people in the queue behind us were prepared with chainsaws. So it wasn't a long wait before the tree was dispensed with. So I think it'll be another night in the van without the pop top, and almost certainly a game of Scrabble.